So we did a thing I'm a little nervous, but mostly very excited for. Let's head on to the computer. Let's talk about the big robot we just purchased. So we did it. We purchased the Super Sorter Mini, and this is a relatively new machine that just came available for reservation and deposit. It's not fully out yet, but we did go ahead, put that $1,000 deposit down. And in today's video, we're just going to talk about what this machine does. We're going to compare it to some of the other sorting machines, and I'm going to kind of give my advice on if you are ready for this level of automation for your TCG business and why I thought I was ready in it for mine. But anyways, guys, my name is Paul. I own P Shop Games. I sell primarily Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but I am branching out into Pokemon and Magic for the most part. Links to all my stuff is in the description. Make sure to like the video and subscribe. All right, let's get on in this. So, what is the Super Sorter Mini? So, if any of you guys are familiar with a lot of the automation tools, this is kind of a alternative to a Roca sorter or a Fizzbatch or even like the Magic sorter, which is like the budget option that is I would not recommend based on what I've seen. So, what this machine does, it pretty much does what you expect. It'll automatically sort your cards, it'll automatically list them for you, and there is a variety of different sorts you can do and listings and etc. etc. What is the biggest drawback with these machines? It's the price. It's the price. So I'm gonna go over the mini, the main super sorter, and I also have the Roca pulled up here, as well as the Fizzbatch I'm not going to talk too much about, but it's there. So, what is the main super sorter as you see in this photo right here? So, this machine is, as it is, a bigger version of the Mini, right? The super sorter has 29 bins, I believe, and while the Mini only has 9 bins total. And let's just get the cat out of the bag. Like, the price of these machines, they're expensive. They are expensive machines. This full size sorter is $25,000 plus shipping. So it's a pretty big chunk of change, and it's a very, how do I say this, decisive decision you have to make, if that makes sense. Like, if you are getting one of these machines, you are really doing this business for reals, or you're attempting to. Now, why did I get the Mini? So I was on the fence for a while about getting a sorting machine, whether it was the Roca sorter or the Super sorter. Fizzbatch wasn't really on my mind. Even the Magic sorter, which I don't even have pulled up, was on my mind. The Magic sorter is like a budget Roca sorter that notoriously always has like issues and breaks down. Not gonna get into it too much. So the reason I ended up going with the Super Sorter, and this just came out a few days ago, is one, the price. This machine in here that you see in this picture, I'm gonna just pull it up right here. It is only, I'm gonna use only $9,000 plus shipping altogether. Which, when you compare it to the full size, that's $25,000. It's it's a major price difference of 16 grand, and the only thing you're losing is from 29 bins to 9 bins, right? It is significantly less bins, so that will be, you have to be slightly more hands-on with this mini one compared to the full size, but that's okay. For me starting off right now, this was a price I was comfortable paying, whereas this $25,000 one is, it's a little much. So, what can this machine do? So let's just read. I've already read through all this, but we're just gonna quickly skim through this. So, belt fed and hands free. Pour in your cards and walk away. It handles cards at 3,000 cards per hour. And I spoke to the owner of this machine, or one of the developers, Micah. He also owns SortSwift. I'm sure it's possibly a software you guys may or may not have heard of. but this is the same person that develops these machines, and they kind of work in tandem with this software. And we are going to be eventually, once this machine arrives, switching over to SwordSwift. Right now I am on TCG tracking, which I know I was going to say, I said I was going to make a video on, I haven't gotten to yet. I will still be making a video on TCG tracking because it is a great platform. But this is kind of a thing I have to do to make sure I get the full value out of this sorter. So, scans and identifies set rarity, language, and most foil statuses at 99.9% accuracy in roughly 1 second per card. From what I've heard and what I've seen, the speed of this machine is pretty much faster than any human can sort anything at this point, and will only probably get faster. And why I went with this machine other than SwordSwift, and why not the Roka, right? The Roka, number one, I believe the base Roka, this one here, is also $25,000 roughly. Maybe it's slightly cheaper. You could probably get one a little cheaper now. The max, I think, is like 30 grand or something insane like that. But there was two reasons, at least for me, why I went with the super sorter. And the number one reason is I primarily sell Yu-Gi-Oh, but because I want to branch out to other card games, the Roka sorter actually has two different machines. You need a Yu-Gi-Oh Roka sorter, and you need a Magic and Pokemon one, and the other card games, because of the size of the cards, right? Yu-Gi-Oh cards are Japanese sized, whereas Pokemon, Magic, and so forth are the standard card sizes. And that's what kind of really took the Roka not off the table for me, but really brought it down, because I didn't want to get the Yu-Gi-Oh Roka sorter and then I'm going to start expanding into Pokemon and Magic, and I'm like, oh, well, I wish I had the Pokemon and Magic Roka sorter, and I can't afford currently two Roka sorters, like one of each. It's just not realistic currently. The other thing is the speed. The Roka is, it says right here, sorts at 500 cards an hour, which I believe is fairly accurate. That's fine, but that's pretty slow compared to the super sorter that Micah says. I think when I spoke last with him, I think he said it's like 3,000 to 3,500 cards an hour. Once this machine comes in, I'm absolutely going to do a video on it. We're going to test and see how true that speed is. This also, as far as I know, is, I don't want to say the only machine that can identify foil statuses. So what I think, and what I hope it means, is that it can identify the specific foiling, not just, okay, yes, this card is a foil, or no, this card is not a foil. It'll be able to tell between a holo and reverse holo, for like your Pokemon guys, and like for Yu-Gi-Oh between like a super rare and ultra rare, secret rare, stuff like that. That's what I'm hoping this machine can do. So let's keep going. So it's 9 bins. So in essence, you have 8 bins that you can work with, and like one discard bin. I guess a bin that maybe the machine can't identify, or stuff you don't want based on your the way you wanted it sorted. So if you have stuff that it rejects, it'll go in that 9th rejection bin. And pretty much, you can read the rest of this. The software, and we're going to get on this point in just a little bit here. The software subscription is $200 a month. This does include the unlimited scans as well. And when I last spoke with Micah, I believe this also covers like any maintenance or parts that might be needed in the event the machine does break down. So if we read here, listing is $1,000 reservation, and then remaining $8,000 plus shipping. I don't know how much the shipping is. Just straight up don't know. I don't know if it's a distance based on wherever he makes these, or if you're international, I'm sure it will be more. They build paid in full orders only, etc., etc. Production expected to begin in 1 to 2 months. I don't know how long the production itself takes. Like, let's say it starts, today is the end of June. Let's say It starts like August, right? Let's say it's only 1 month. I don't know from August till when I would get my machine once I have the $8,000 that I'm going to pay right away once this thing opens up to be able to pay the remaining balance. So that's all fine and dandy. The regular super sorter I'm going to touch on, and another, I guess, another reason why I went with the mini and why I was very hesitant. I was about to get this main super sorter. I was literally about like a week away from booking a call with Micah and being like, hey, I'm ready to press forward with this one, this main one. This thing is ginormous, and in my current setup, if you look behind me, I measured, I would have enough room to fit this, fit this gigantic machine, but it would really like clog up my room down here. This one is only, and I asked him this, and it's 44 inches long, which is, what was I over here? Not that bad. I think the full size one is over like 80 something inches. It's like over 7 feet in length. This full sized super sorter. So that's that's a lot of room. That's a lot of room. It would have really clogged things up back here. This one here, I can plop over on. You guys can't. You can kind of see this desk area next to me where my hand is. Okay. I can plop this mini right on this desk, and it's going to be ready to go. And this is the actual like machine. He said this is like a working prototype of it. I think he said like they will be adding like all this, like the super sorter casings and logo and stuff in the final build. And pretty much how I understand the machine just works is you have your cards up top. This is a Ricoh scanner over here. It feeds through. The Ricoh scanner scans the cards, and based on whatever sort you do, it will just dump it in one of these bins, however you have it set. So, and I recently just finished redoing my whole inventory in Chaos Sort. That was painful. That took a lot longer than I thought. I'm going to make an updated video on what I think of the Chaos sorting system, especially as someone who has just alpha sorted his entire inventory for the longest. And we're going to talk about the pros and cons of Chaos sorting. If I like it, am I going back? Am I staying? Keep an eye out for that video. So, yeah, this is the point I've kind of went off track. Of course, I kept rambling. Is this sorter does over 26 TCGs. I don't know if I can name 26 TCGs off the top of my head. Maybe I could. But this does the big three, right? Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! If you don't want to count Yu-Gi-Oh! As one of the big three, sure, it does, big four. It does Lorcana, it does One Piece, it does Flesh and Blood. I'm sure it does Dragon Ball and, I don't know, the Sorcery and Riftbound and, I don't know, whatever. So on and so forth, right? And this was, again, a huge selling point for me because as I branch out into more TCGs, and for now it's probably just going to be, Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! But hey, no, you never know, down the line, if One Piece hangs around and is a long-term TCG, maybe I'll get in that. Flesh and Blood, I've personally had interest in it, just because I kind of like the way the cards look and stuff. Still iffy on if I want to, as a business decision, end up carrying that card game, but this is a major selling point for me too, because unlike the Roka, like I don't need two different machines, right? This machine just kind of does everything. Yeah, so that's the price. It's $9,000 plus shipping. Again, the full size is $25,000, and I believe the regular Roka is $25,000, and then the max is like $30,000. The Fizz Batch, I have it open here. I'll briefly touch on this. I didn't really consider this machine. I think this machine's like $30-something thousand. It's not for me, from what I'm looking for, and it's a little on the very expensive end of like my price range of what I was even remotely comfortable spending. And even the super sorter for 25, I was certainly sweating. Not that $9,000 isn't a lot for a machine that scans your card. I see the value in this significantly more. So let's go over to one of the bigger drawbacks if you are considering this, and that is just the overall price of now, in essence, having to move to SortSwift. You don't have to move to SortSwift to use this machine. You will, however, need to pay the $200 a month subscription software for this, regardless if you want to move to SwordSwift or not. I believe this is just like the standard $200 software for this machine to be updated and for you to get replacement parts. Let's go over to SwordSwift. So SwordSwift is pretty much a inventory platform like Crystal Commerce or TCG Tracking, and a few other ones. Binder POS, whoever still uses that, it's technically an option. Let's go over to the pricing though for SwordSwift. So yeah, I'll go back. This is the main website. If you just go to pricing, and if you view a la carte, you can do the bundles. I would probably not recommend the bundles based on what I've looked at least. I'm sure for some people, some of these bundles would make sense. But we're just gonna go to the a la carte, and I'm not gonna. This is not the point of the video. I'm not going into a super in-depth video on SwordSwift, but I'm just gonna give you an example of what, for me, a smaller individual. I am a full-time seller. To keep that in mind, of what I'm going to have to spend, for me to run this machine and sell on SwordSwift. So I'm gonna need the inventory, right? I don't need a POS, I don't have a physical store, I don't have an in-store kiosk. Buy list, I will probably end up getting, but that's not a requirement, and we're not going to factor that in. Card scanning will be unlimited. You get that with your $200 a month subscription. I did confirm that because at first I wasn't sure. I'm like, do I have to pay $200 for the software, for the machine, for the super sorter, and $200 for the card scanning? No, it's just $200 all in. Platform syncing, I currently sell on 3 platforms. That'll be eBay, TCG Player, and Card Trader. If once I get into Magic more, this will go to 4. Like, I'm gonna sell on Manipool. Manipool seems like a fantastic platform just in general. So, but right now we're gonna keep it at the 3. Advanced auto pricing I will need. We're gonna leave it at the 1 game because right now, again, most of my inventory is only Yu-Gi-Oh. So we're gonna just do the bare minimum. Like, what do I need? This will be my monthly cost now, $304 a month. Let's compare it to, I was on Crystal Commerce, that was like $100 a month, but they also had a 2.5% commission fee on all your sales that you made. So there is no commission fee with SwordSwift. It is just the monthly fee, right? Which is great because for a bigger business, right? The more you start to sell, you're getting into, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month. Yeah, that 2% is gonna really add up pretty quick, right? So, that's gonna grossly outweigh whatever you're paying in a month sometimes if you really get your business going. So, but it still is an expense. Right now I'm on TCG Tracking. It's free. It's $0 unless you become the like one of the beta members or supporters and stuff. Now, who knows? Like, TCG Tracking, and tomorrow after I post this video, can be like, oh, well, we're charging now for a software or something. You never know, right? But SwordSwift, I think, currently on the market is kind of the best platform for people that really want to do this at a serious level. I'm talking like this is going to be your full-time job, career, however you want to phrase it. I would not recommend, honestly, I really wouldn't recommend SwordSwift if you're just like a casual seller. Maybe you just sell on eBay or you just sell on TCG Player. Like if you just sell on eBay, you're just card uploader, right? Like, and you're not looking to branch out to multiple platforms and have all your stuff synced on multiple platforms, and maybe eventually, have a store, or you want to do a buy list and stuff. If you don't want to do any of that and just kind of stay as a part-time seller, side hustle thing, yada yada, I probably wouldn't recommend SwordSwift. But you still can use it. I just don't think it'll probably give you that value you're necessarily looking for. But if you're somebody that's like, okay, yeah, I've done this for a while now, I kind of want to do this as my full-time thing, I have the ability to, I think SwordSwift, at least currently as today stands, is probably the best product on the market for that. And this, again, came from someone that I've been on Binder POS, and I've been on Crystal Commerce. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, know what I'm talking about. And for those of you who don't, consider yourself lucky that SwordSwift is here and around. So, I'm about to wrap the video up, but I'm gonna go quickly to the announcements page of the Discord when this first came out, because there's actually some more info on here than the regular page here for the reservation. Again, true chaos sorting, which is what I'm gonna pretty much, my plan is to use in this machine is to, shove the cards in and be like, hey, make me my bins and my locations, and that's it. Just set it and forget it. Again, only really eight usable bins. A little more hands-on, but still fantastic in my opinion if everything works the way it's presented to. Has location refill, so for those who do chaos sorting, once your once your bins sell out a little, you can just tell the machine, hey, reload any locations or bins that are below my max capacity, right? So like my bins and location, I do 75 cards per location. Anything under 75, I could be like, hey, okay, refill those bins for me. It'll drop down in these bins, and then it'll tell you. There's actually, I don't know if you guys can see in the video. Let me see. Kind of hard to tell, but this right here, right where my cursor is, these are actually like little screens. I saw a video of them, and it'll tell you like, okay, this goes in this bin, this goes in this location, this goes in this location, yada yada yada. So that's really cool. Inventory spread is my main selling point. I spoke with Micah about this like a few times to confirm this does. But so the mini loads we already stocked, then route each card by how many copies you own. New cards to one bin, lost stocks another, and overstock to discard. Fantastic. This is one of my main selling points that I'm very excited to use. And it also builds packs or mystery lots or bulk lots. I'm sure it can do. So this machine seems to be very multi-use for the most part, and at the price point, I was like, okay, this seems pretty good. So, very excited to get my hands on this bad boy here. I know it's a bit of a longer video. Damn, we're 22 minutes in. Jeez, I've been on a little bit of a ramble. So I know the videos, I've been a little behind on the videos, guys. I'm going to be bringing more videos out. I just really had a long, hard struggle with moving over all my inventory to chaos sorting. And now I'm going to have to move everything over eventually once the sorter comes into Sort Swift, but I should be able to just upload the CSV of my current chaos sort, and it should be able to feed right into Sort Swift. So that's it for the video, guys. I'm very excited. Hope you guys are excited. Can't wait to do videos on this machine, showing you guys how it works. Until then, make sure to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one.